Hello and welcome back to today's video. I'm going to be kicking things off with DXY as usual. Now last week, or let me say last 2 weeks and last week, I talked about the possibility of price pulling back into this area right here and retesting this green zone and this trend line. Now, as we can see, price came into that green zone and this trend line, and we can see how price rejected that zone significantly. Now let's go to the 4-hour time frame. But before we go to the 4-hour time frame, let's go back to the daily time frame. Now on the daily time frame, you can see this huge engulfing candlestick here, with which we closed on Friday, engulfing Thursday, Wednesday, and almost Tuesday. So as a matter of fact, price actually ended up closing close to the open of last week. So this is a solid bullish price action here. So if this continues, I am expecting price to come into 107.091, which has been my target all along. Now let's go to the 4-hour time frame. In fact, let's go all the way down to the 1-hour time frame. So last week, I called our attention to the fact that I have these two green zones here, 1 and 2, and then this trend line up above. So for me to be bullish, then price has to break above this trend line and above this green zone, come back for a retest before we look for buys to our target. Then my plan B was that price was going to break below this lower trend line here and below this green zone here to make its way into this exact zone, which is 105.496, before price finds momentum to push price higher. And as you can see, price actually went with our plan B, broke below, came back for a retest, and came into this zone before now we can see that price is pushing higher. So if you doubt me, let's quickly revisit last week's video. Now, if price breaks out below, that means I would like to see something like this. I would like to see price break out of this zone, give this zone a retest before we make our way down to 105.496. So from this area, I'll be expecting price to continue higher. Remember, I am still completely bullish on the US dollar. So welcome back, guys. You can see how price came into that zone, gave us a massive rejection. We've created a new higher high here. We've come back for a retest of that zone. So I'll expect this continuous push to the upside into 107.091. So going into next week, DXY, I am bullish. Now let's quickly take a look at Usdjpy. Now, Usdjpy, last week, I also did something similar. My plan A was for price to break above this green zone, come back for a retest before we continue higher. And all along, my target has always been 160.000. All right. Then plan B was for price to actually take out this trend line below and this green zone to make its way down into 152.599 before we continue bullish. However, price went with the initial plan here, which is breaking above this zone, coming back for a retest, and then we saw this massive push up to the upside. So going into next week, I will expect price to continue higher until we come into 160.000. So let's quickly revisit last week's video where I said exactly this. I'd like to go to the lower time frame. Let's go to the 30 minutes time frame. So on the 30 minutes time frame, if price is committed to going higher, just draw a zone around here. Simple, just box this zone in, all right, and wait for price to break out of it properly, give it a retest properly before you catch a swing trade to the upside, all right. My next target on Usdjpy, if price continues bullish, is going to be 160.000 area. So welcome back, guys. You can see how price played out perfectly. I've been bullish all along, and as you can see, price is approaching our overall target. So next week, like I said earlier, I will expect price to continue into that zone. Now, the next on my list is Eurjpy. Eurjpy, last week also I was bullish. I usually like to give bullish and bearish scenarios, right? So the bearish scenario was for price to actually break below this trend line, come back for a retest before making its way into 160.236. Then plan B was for price to break above this zone. Let me zoom in properly so that you can see it. For price to break above this zone, come back for a retest before we blast higher, and my target was 168.338. As you can see, price even blasted above that zone and is still pushing higher. For me to become bullish, price has to take out this 165.336 area. All right, price has to take out that zone, and if that happens, we now have a new higher high, right, around here. So I'd like to see a pullback into that 165.336 area. I'd like to see a pullback into there. Then we'll go for a 300 pip move into 168.338. All right. So guys, you see, this is not fluke. This is what we do week in, week out. And you can tell, you be the judge. The accuracy is top notch. So this is not guesswork. This is, like I said, what we do week in, week out. So if you want to actually learn how to do this, if you actually want to be able to take advantage of these moves in the market, you know what to do. Just visit letstrade10x.com and take your trading to the next level. But let's dump all of that for now. And let's talk about the next target for next week. With this momentum with which price is pushing higher, I am actually expecting price to come into 169.912 before we start seeing any form of rejections or pullback. All right, so I am bullish until we come into 169.912. Now, why is that? Let's go to a much higher time frame. Let's go to the monthly time frame. So yeah, my initial target was around here, but due to the fact that price has broken above our initial target, then I am looking at this highest point here on the monthly time frame as the zone where price is going to come into before we start seeing maybe any major sell-off or rejection or whatever. All right, so I am bullish until 169.958. so let's go to Euro USD, which is the only currency pair I trade for now. In the beginning of the month, I was particular about price coming into 1.05666. This is the monthly time frame, by the way, and that's what price has been doing ever since. If we go to the weekly time frame, yes, price pushed down. We saw some kind of pullback, but let's go to the daily time frame and see what's happening. Now, on the daily time frame, remember, all along my target has always been 1.04862, and that has not changed. As a matter of fact, last week I said I'm expecting price to come back into this zone for a retest or this other green zone above here. All right, so as you can see, price actually came into that zone, and now we are beginning to see a massive rejection. Right, Friday closed with a solid bearish engulfing candlestick. Remember what we talked about on DXY? Let's go back to DXY. Look at how price came back to retest our zone, and we are seeing this massive rejection to the upside. That is exactly what is happening on euro dollar. So euro dollar is retesting this zone, and we are seeing this massive rejection. Guys, I am bearish going into next week until price actually breaks and closes above the zone before I can now become bullish. But as long as price stands right now, I am super bearish on euro dollar. All right, and as a matter of fact, I'm already in this trade and I'm expecting price to continue falling into these lows here. All right, as a matter of fact, I may decide to break even just to protect myself when price opens on Monday. All right, so I don't get caught up in my head. But going into next week, I am more bearish than bullish. But I'll be bullish if price closes above this zone, which is 1.07425. If price breaks and closes above that zone, then I'll be bullish. But as it stands, guys, I am super bearish on euro dollar, and I'm going to be expecting price to continue falling to the downside. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame. So on the 4-hour time frame, we can see that price has broken below this counter trend line. So price has broken below it. So what I would just be expecting to see next week is maybe early part of next week is a little bit of pullback before the complete sell-off. Is there anything interesting on the 1-hour time frame? Okay, yep, there's something interesting. Let me just delete, or let me restrict this to just the daily time frame so that we can have a clean chart. I'll also do this for this. Double click this. I want a clean chart, so So for bearish confirmation, I'd like to see this on the 1 hour time frame. Let me just plot this zone around here. Okay. Perfect. So I'd like to see price break below here. If you are not in this trade yet, right? I'd like to see price break below this zone, which is 1.06682. So I'd like to see price break and close below here. Show me market bearish commitment. I want to see bearish commitment. Close below here. Come back for a pullback. Then if I see an entry from here, this is where I am getting into the trade. Stop loss above, take profit all the way below. That's if you want to hold for a longer period of time until we come into 1.04851. All right. So going into next week, euro dollar, I am super bearish now. So the last on my list for this week is going to be GBP USD. So I'd like to start from the higher time frame on GU. Now GU, remember last week I called our attention to the fact that this is my target. As a matter of fact, that was even my thumbnail, as you can see on your screen. So this was the target. Price came into that target, gave a massive rejection, and now price is retesting this area here. All right, price is retesting this daily area here. Price has used this area as an area of support previously. 1, 2, 3. Now price has come back to that area. We are beginning to see rejections. So going into next week, I'd like to see price continue the bearish push to my overall target, which is 1.21101. All right, but if price breaks and closes above this 1.25436 area, if a daily candlestick breaks above and closes above that zone, then I will become bullish. But as long as this zone holds, I remain bearish. All right, let's go to the 4-hour time frame. So on the 4-hour time frame, I'm just going to delete all of this. All right, so the 4-hour time frame, you can see we are beginning to see rejections, and I will expect price to continue falling to the downside. Let's go to the 1-hour time frame. Let's do what we did on euro dollar. So on GBP USD, I'll actually be focusing on these areas here. All right, these are my areas. 1, 2, 3. We've seen massive rejections here previously. A little bit of rejection when price broke above, rejection. So this is a strong area. So if price breaks below this area, I'll be expecting price to continue lower. As a matter of fact, price pushed down from here, from our daily zone. Remember, from the daily time frame, price pushed down to this zone, pushed back up. Now, if we now eventually break below this zone, that means we have a new lower low, which is a change in market structure, right? So if that happens, then I'll wait for a lower high, then look for trading opportunities from here. Stop loss above, take profit. Our previous zone will be our first take profit target before we now start looking at the possibility of price falling to this second target all the way down here. So that is my bias on GBP USD going into next week. I am more bearish than bullish. Remember, I have given you my bullish scenario if the bearish fails, all right? Because you need to think in probability. So guys, if you want to take your trading to the next level, if you want to be able to analyze the market, because you need to be able to even analyze whether on the lower time frames or on the higher time frame or whatever, to be able to even have a directional bias before you even think about execution. So if you want to learn how to analyze, how to execute, how to manage risk properly, how to develop a winning psychology, a winning mentality, we still have space left at our Let's Trade Academy. Do yourself a favor, grab any of our mentorship program. As a matter of fact, our next online mentorship is kicking off on the 7th of May next month, and registration will soon be closing. So if you want to take advantage of that and take your trading to the next level, you want to live trade with me, you want to learn how to do all of these good stuff you see me do week in, week out, now is your chance. Don't let this opportunity pass you by, and you are going to be thankful and grateful you did. And if you made it this far and you're yet to like this video or even subscribe, now is the time to do so. That's another way you can show us support. We are going to be very, very grateful if you could do that. And this is where I'm going to wish you a successful trading week, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.